All right, so this is AV Productions. I decided to make a new video because the one I found on YouTube was a little slow and confusing. So everything that I'm going to show you is what I need you to learn when you're initially doing the software, okay? So you click on Adobe Premiere. It's now open. You have two options right now. It says new project or open project. You're not gonna see all of this stuff, all these other projects, because it's your first time using it. So don't worry about it if yours doesn't look like mine. Go ahead, click new project. The next thing that pops up is where you're gonna name it, okay? Whatever the name of the project is, that's what you're gonna name it. Project 13 should be what it is. So go ahead and type in Project 13, okay? Don't worry about none of the settings. They will automatically change whenever you drag and drop a clip to your timeline. And if that doesn't make no sense to you, don't worry, because it will make sense once you get started, okay? All right, so hopefully it's opening up. There it is. It's open now. So you got this blank screen, all right? You got, over here is where your effects control and your clips are. This is gonna be your preview. This is gonna be where your timeline is. And this is gonna be where all your media is. Now yours might look slightly different the very first time you open it. It might try to give you tutorials. Just exit out all those tutorials and you'll be fine, okay? So the first thing in order to make this software work is you have to import media to work with. So all you have to do, and there's multiple ways to do it, but go to File, go to Import, and then you should have saved some videos already from Pixabay, the project previous to this. So you go to that videos folder and you just press import, okay? So import all the videos that you saved from Pixabay, okay? So I only imported one because I didn't do it. I'll just import a couple more. You can select multiple ones, shift and then highlight it, or left click and highlight it, and then you can do multiple. You don't have to keep just doing one at a time. All right, so now we have our project library right here, okay? All editing is keeping what you want and getting rid of what you don't want. That's all editing is initially, okay? So right here is my library. To my right where it says drop media, this is your actual movie timeline. So I'm gonna grab one of these clips. I'm gonna double click so I can get a preview. And I want you to notice right here, right above the clips, we have a preview. Okay, these are that's a preview of my clip. So let's say I want to keep this clip. All I'm gonna do is left click, drag, and drop it, and boom, there you go. If a pop-up pops up saying, do you want to change the settings? Yes, you want to change the settings. It's gonna change it to whatever the format is of the video you just shot, okay? So now you have two previews. You have this is the actual movie, all right, in this window, and this timeline is everything that's gonna be in the movie. So if I wanna play it, I'm gonna play it, okay? So all editing is again, taking what you want, keeping it, and getting rid of what you don't. So I'm gonna grab multiple clips and I'm gonna drag and drop them behind it. And that's just building a movie, just like that. As you can see, those of y'all that are watching, you can see, I just grabbed the same clip. I don't want that clip, I'm gonna delete it. I didn't actually delete it from the computer, I just deleted it from my timeline, so don't worry about that, okay? So I just added another clip. So now I have two clips on my movie timeline. This is my movie, okay? Notice how I have this big space. I can get rid of that big space by left clicking, deleting, and now I don't have that big space, because whatever you see right here is what you're gonna see in your movie, your finished project. So if I had a blank space right here and we were watching this on YouTube, when it comes to this part, I would have a blank space on YouTube, and you don't want blank spaces, okay? You'll lose your audience. So, boom, I delete it. If I need to zoom out and see my whole clip, I can see how long it is right here. This tells me this movie is 32 seconds. If I need to zoom up to do some editing, I just hold this and scoot it to the left, okay? And that's pretty much it. You drag, you drop. This is your previews of your movie, and this is your preview of your clips. Now, I know I'm gonna talk about it in another project, but I'm gonna go through it quickly just so you can have an idea. The main tools, this is your toolbar. This is where you're gonna like make your edits at. This is how I click and drag, but if I needed to edit something, I would use my razor tool. So let's say I wanna take out this first part of the young man jumping on top of the weights. I get to the part where I don't wanna keep it. I go to right on top of the blue line and I left click, and then it splices that clip, okay? So if I didn't want to keep it, I go back to my selection tool, I hold on, I delete it, boom, I've just edited out something that I didn't want in my movie, okay? So y'all are gonna be doing the same thing when you're doing interviews and commercials and stuff. You're gonna edit what you want, keep what you want, get rid of what you don't want, all right? So that's pretty much it for timeline, your library. Those are the two first important steps. Over here is my clip. I'm gonna click on my clip. Over here is your effects control. You're mainly gonna use this. This is how you can add special effects and titles and text to your movie, okay? And you'll be able to add control. We'll talk more about that later. Last thing is over here to your right. You have your audio effects, you have your transitions, you have your movie effects and transitions. So we're gonna go more on that in a future project, but basically that's all you need to know for this project, okay? How to import video, drag it to your timeline, how to move it around, how to splice it, and I think that's it. Let's look at the project just so we can answer all the questions. So if you're watching this video, I'm about to give you all the questions to the Google document, okay? So for project, this is project 12, right? For project 12, yes, project 12, basics. You need to know these following things. All right, how do you import video? We just went into that. How do you open the timeware? This is your timeline right here. So with a question that says, what is the project timeline? This is the area where you drag and drop your clips to make your movie, okay? What is a sequence? A sequence is like if you were working on multiple scenes. So like right now, let's say this was one scene of my movie. I can go up here to File, go to New, and then add a different sequence. So now I'll have two different scenes, okay? So sequence 1, sequence 2, I can go back and forth. That allows me to work on multiple projects at the same time, all right? How do you move through your timeline? This blue tool right here, you just pull left and right to move through your timeline. So that's the answer to that question, pull left and right. If you have one clip on top of another, which clip do you see? That's a good question. So if, let's say I was stacking clips. So right now I'm editing and I have a different clip. I drag and drop. I'm only gonna see what's on top, okay? Layers basically mean you see what's on the top layer. So notice how when I dragged and dropped it, it switched to this different layer, okay? If I move this out the way, you're seeing what's underneath. So you only can see what's on the top layer. So that's the answer to the question. Which tool do you use to split a clip? We've already went over there. You're gonna use your razor blade tool to cut a clip. All you gotta do is click that razor blade, left click. What buttons can you do to use to hide a timeline? Hide a clip on a timeline. If you look over here on the left, let's say I don't need this no more, where it says video 1, or it has like a little eyeball. I can click on that eyeball and it'll turn everything off that's on this line, on this layer, okay? And just like the music too, that's how they make music videos. You hear the real audio that they were shooting from that day. You hear the music that's mastered, right? So if I didn't want to hear this audio right here and I wanted to lay another track, I just turn it off by pushing mutes right here, okay? What other questions we have on here? How do you adjust the video clips and where? Effects control, that's where you're gonna do all your adjustments. And what that basically means, let's say, again, you're gonna go over this in the next project. Let's say I needed to adjust this clip. Let's say I needed to make it bigger or smaller for whatever reason. I can go over here to effects control, make sure it's selected, and then I can make the clip bigger, smaller. If I needed to change the position, if I needed to change the opacity, that basically means make it darker or lighter. That's how I would do it. So to answer that question, how do you turn off clips, is go to effects control. Two more questions. What is one way to add text to your clips? We haven't really talked about it yet, but you can go to the type tool, click on the type tool, left click, and the type tool is the tool that looks like a T in your toolbox. Once you left click, you can type out whatever you want, put your name, boom, boom, boom. Once I've typed it, then I can move it around. And we're gonna go more in depth just in text at a later time, but that's just a real quick overview on how to use that. And last but not least is adding a transition. Again, the next project is gonna go more in detail, but if I wanted to add any type of effect or transition, this is how I would do it. I go to my transitions, I left click, and I drag it in between two clips. All a transition means is that it's going to make one clip blend smoothly into the other clip. So now when I press play, notice how it flipped it like a cube compared to if I delete that transition. And when I play, it just do what we call a jump cut. It just cuts to the same, cuts to the scene without doing anything. All right, and the same thing with video effects. If I wanted to add a special effect, I would click one of my special effects, click, drag, drop it, and now I've added an effect to my video, okay? So those are all the answers to the Google form. Those are all the things that you need to know to get started. This video ended up being 10 minutes. I was trying to make it shorter. Let me know if you need any questions. You have any questions.